Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Troy and then Justin.
You kind of mentioned it, the explosive plays. I think it was about 6 of them.
6 for 189 yards.
Would you account for most of that just 50-50 balls that you got to win, or fundamentals of leading up to that point?
No, the 3 biggest ones, the 43-yarder on the first one with him and AG is great coverage. Their guy jumped up, made a ball. He had his hand on the ball, and he was able to make. Those are the 50-50 balls in the first 2 weeks we made. We didn't make that one. The one on the 3rd and 11, the 32-yard game to Sewell on our sideline, that was frustrating because Jen's covering a lot of ground. We lose leverage if we keep the leverage that we're supposed to keep. That ball's probably intercepted. But once again, give Chase Sewell credit. Dude made a play. They got good players too, and he made a play. The 52-yarder goes against your training. If you're going full speed, it's a 10-yard gain, not 50. And that's a learned thing. It's a muscle memory thing. We do it every single day. I don't know if you guys that are out there and watch the way you watch us chase the ball on 7-on-7. Like, we go one play roll, and they have to sprint 40 yards every single time. If that ball's on the ground, we pick it up like it's a fumble if it's an incomplete pass. Like, that's training. And so, is it instilled 100% yet? Obviously not. So we're going to keep training it. Now that takes time, because human nature is when something's not your way or something's away from you, especially in this game. And watch everybody's tape. I do. I'm very picky in particular on this stuff, and I call our guys out all the time in our room, because if it's lazy, it's not acceptable. And then it shows up on game day. I can promise you, the 2 that we've had to call out, it won't happen again. And then we made a big emphasis today, and we can track them with all those GPS things and tell you how fast they run. Michael Dansby hit 22.5 miles an hour in that football game in shoulder pads and full pads. Okay, that's pretty damn fast. If you do that all the time, you eliminate big plays. So those are they scheme? It had nothing to do with pass rush, because that ball is catch throw. They're throwing fade routes, and we've got to make more plays on 50-50 balls than the opponent if we're going to be elite on defense. And they got the better outputs on Saturday night.
Justin and Brian.
We finally got to see Riley Wilson in action. What did you make of how he played and what he can bring moving forward?
Coming out of spring, Riley was one of our best linebackers. And then we've had some stuff that he missed some time during fall camp. He's back and is running around. So the amount of practice time that you miss, and I think football is the one game that does not matter how elite you are, unless you're an elite Tom Brady-ish. Like, you can't cheat football and not practice and play well and execute, especially if you've got some adjustments week to week in the positions that he plays. So limited practice time has kind of limited his reps. He gained more practice last week, so he's able to play more. He'll gain more this week and keep evolving and hopefully be a full-time player. Because when he's out there, he's dynamic, he's physical, he's violent. He had 2 sacks on Saturday night. Both of them were, I want those to be sack fumbles, not just sacks. Because Rocco Beck on the first one didn't even see him coming. We did a nice job with the way we disguised the coverage. He went to throw another deep ball and couldn't, because we went over the top of it. And when he pulled it back, bam, all of a sudden Riley's right there in his face. So that will continue to grow as the more he practice reps he gets, his package. But you know what? When you put a kid that hasn't practiced a ton out there, you're doing them a disservice, because if they make mistakes, it's on you and not on them. So he's going to be a vital part of us having a chance to grow to be elite.
And then what do you make of Genesis Smith and what he's been able to do off the field in addition to on the field?
Genesis Smith is one of the greatest human beings that I've ever been around, and he's only 1 years old. Okay, when I was in New Mexico, we had a young man by the name of Teton Saldes who won the All-State Good Hands award, and Teton is a Native American from the South Dakota Indian tribe, was an amazing person. Genesis Smith, for what he's doing for, one, the community of Tucson. In 2024, he puts on a thing called Cats Christmas, where he gets people to, and he fundraises so that 12 families, both here in Phoenix and in Tucson, have an opportunity to wake up Christmas morning to Santa Claus gifts, or Christmas gifts, and for families to celebrate where kids otherwise would not have had Christmas. And he was able to do that for 12 families. And in the process right now, in 2025, he's organizing a gala, or gala, however you say it. I think it's gala, but I'll get criticized for that. To fundraise to have a bigger Cats Christmas for 2025. Okay, and he got teammates and coaches and friends and everybody to buy Amazon gifts and send them in, and then they wrap them and he goes and delivers them. And it was hundreds of gifts that Brooke Blaine has helped him organize, okay, and then set this up. And on top of that now, he's involved. He's got 4 younger brothers that if you didn't know better, you would think they live here with him. Because they're always over here at 9 o'clock p.m. running routes and doing stuff in the gym, which is in the indoor, which is unbelievable. And then he started a youth camp over at Dillon Middle School called Rise, Resilient, Inspired, Strengthened, Empowered, and donates his time so that he can be around 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds and do football, do basketball, do kickball, and take his teammates over there and volunteer their time. Because I think the NFL is doing a great job trying to create NFL 60 and kids play, because kids, all they want to do is get on video games and do those things. And he wants them to be outside. He's the CEO of our team, the chief energy officer, and he's that same way with kids. And so he was raised in a family, and his grandma was a huge part, and mom and dad, of servant leadership. And he has servant leadership on our team. That's why everybody loves the young man. So, I mean, I could go on for all of our time on Genesis Smith. I won't. But I love him, one, as a human being, as a person, as a football player, as a captain. Like, his faith is super strong. And when he leads the prayer, I mean, everything he does is elite. And so when people say, well, if Genesis Smith would have played better, he had one of his worst games. Well, guess what? I allowed Genesis Smith to go gut those guys in half and take those shots. So the other guys need to train to make up for it if he does miss. So, I mean, I cannot say enough positive and amazing things about what Genesis Smith and how lucky the 520 is to have him here, and how lucky Phoenix is and all those things, and what Brooke has done with Beyond Football to help Jen organize that, and then give Jen all the credit in the world, because he gives all his free time up to do these things. So that's an amazing question, so thank you.
Brian and then Michael.
When you look at what Oklahoma State's going to do in this game,
Sure.
because they have changes in there. I know that Meacham was the offensive coordinator, I was wondering, but did you see big changes in this first game that they did, or was it just trying some different stuff?
I think Coach Meacham's an excellent football coach, and his track record speaks volumes for what he's been able to do. I would imagine, and I don't know this, I would imagine he would like to be the head coach there. And so if you can be really good on offense and exciting, because points sell, and guys love offensive coaches, and I picked the wrong side of the ball, I guess, because that's the most exciting part of football. I mean, sell tickets, change the rules so that they can score more points. What he's doing is very dynamic, especially in the Baylor game. I mean, you got Jackson, number 18, who was a quarterback at a high school and then played quarterback at TCU. I mean, he can roll out. Watch the second play of the Kansas game from 21 against Texas. I mean, Oklahoma State game against in 21 against from TCU. He's rolling out to his right and launches the ball 55 yards out. It's nothing. So he's got a dynamic piece back there. So they'll have 2 quarterbacks on the field. They'll do some sprint out, roll out stuff, and they'll throw it to. I mean, it's very innovative. It's very creative. They did some double pass. They did some reverses and all those things. Give him a ton of credit, because those kids are playing really hard. Now I think what you really want to give credit to is the ones that are playing, and you haven't seen a mass exodus into the portal from Oklahoma State, which those guys have played 4 games, so if they're going to, now would be it. Okay? That means that what Meacham is telling them and how he's doing it, they believe in him. And don't ever forget, too, that these kids train, just like we talked about, 43 to 52 weeks a year for the 12 opportunities. So they still have opportunities, and now they're playing with, like, this is fun. What the hell is this? I mean, we got reverse throwback, I mean, all that stuff. So give him credit, because he's doing a great job with the message, and they're gonna create some challenges on Saturday. Now it goes back to our training. If we train and not practice, then you can overcome that. They're going to be a damn excited football team to play. He's done a great job. So give Coach Meacham a lot of credit in that respect.
Yeah.
Got a great respect for him, what he's done offensively too.
You'd said a lot of times during the spring and even in the summer that, like, if you guys can play man consistently, then it's going to do good things. And this was a game where the man had some breakdowns. Does it cause you to reevaluate?
No.
Or is that still what you're sticking to?
No, and it's interesting. In our room, in our defensive room, and I'll never do it publicly, but in our defensive room, I got no problem blaming guys. When it's the 40 guys that are in there, blaming them to each other, because they all hold each other to a really high standard. And we got 4 corners that I think are elite in this league. And the message was, yeah, you got to make plays on 50-50 balls. You don't have to make every single one, but if he makes 2 of them, the game's different. If he makes all 3, game's completely different. If he makes 1 of the 3, game's different. And then you make that 1 of the 3, all of a sudden you have a lot more momentum. Momentum is like a 4th down stop. We didn't get 4th down stops last Saturday. It didn't change the momentum. They did. Okay, so If you don't have good enough players to do it, then you have to change what you're doing. We have good enough players. You heard Michael, put me on an island, coach. That was their answer. And you can tell when they come to the sideline, if they're shell-shocked, you better play zone. Because you're going to get your 10 win. They weren't ever shell-shocked. They were like, I got you. I'll make the next play. And so I got all the confidence in the world in those guys. And guess what? When we can play man coverage, they get 1.9 yards per carry on 40 carries. We got to make the play on the 50-50 ball so that we can be elite.
We'll finish up with Michael and Jason.
Yeah, I have a handful, and they're all kind of follow-ups.
Go one at a time, and we'll come through them.
So you're talking about the slant pass. Like the corner is supposed to do something different.
All 11 guys are supposed to do something different. It's not. So here's your formation. The number 2 is the one that runs the slant. Okay. Number 1 runs underneath number out, so the corner's squeezing. Okay. The number 3 who's coming across, and then Jen. So we got linebacker pushed inside the slant of 2. We got the down safety pushing inside the slant of 1 because there's all 3, and then our free safety can cut the slant of 2 on this particular play. Jen cuts it, and as he's taking his angle, he takes one bad step, but he didn't break down, and the guy has to cut inside. The corner that's squeezing over the top of 1 is squeezing, but not the way he's trained. So he's 2 steps late from making a tackle for a 10-yard gain, as opposed to having to chase that thing down to the 10-yard line. So as soon as that ball is thrown, all 11 of those dudes on defense, whether it's in the front, it's why we've been so good at eliminating screens, or you're in the secondary, that ball's thrown, you're going as fast as you can until that thing's dead. Because if Genesis trips him up, Michael guts him from behind, it's possibly a fumble. Or AG guts him from behind, it's possibly a fumble. But if not, and Jen trips him up, now it's just 4 more yards as opposed to being down right there. When they throw a screen, you see Tia and you see Deshaun, you see those guys. As soon as the quarterback throws the ball, bang. If it's 90 yards, or if he's throwing the ball 60 yards down the field, those guys will turn and run and they'll sprint. And then after about 5 or 6 steps, they'll stop sprinting because they're not going to make a play on 60 yards down the ball. But they better be on a good jog so they get lined up if they go tempo, if they catch a 40-yard pass. But if they throw the ball on the shoulders down, which we read the DBs to read, and now they run a screen and the guys come, that's why they're screen killers. Because they turn and they got a 300-pound guy sprinting full speed immediately, he guts you. So it's training. And you have to do different drills on that because they don't naturally want to do it. 300-pound guys don't want to freaking turn and sprint every single time the ball's thrown. Corners should, safety should, linebacker should. So if he takes the right angle full speed, it's a 10-yard gain.
Second one, you did not name names on the 2 third down plays with Hanson kind of near the sideline, but it was Tay Brown who was the one who was there. What would you like to see him do different?
Don't break down. Don't break down. Your training's not to break down. You watch pregame. We got those 4 big bags. And we move those bags around and we run and we take different angles and make them change direction to hit the bag because some of those bags can move, some of them can't. And when we move the bags on a swing route out there, they run full speed coming downhill and gut the bag. Well, if you watch Tay and on this play, I think, and this is big moments learning how to win. He wants to be perfect. So I don't blame him for wanting to be perfect, but that's not how you're trained. So if he just runs through that thing and he doesn't slow down, if you watch him go back and watch the tape, he stuttered his tape. And at this level, the athletes are too elite. If you stutter, they're going to make you miss. And so if he just guts him, it's 3rd and 4. We get off the field. They never get the ball to AG. Or they never throw the ball to Marquise on the 3rd and 11. If they do those things. On the next one, 3rd and 5, wide space, same thing. Just go throw your body. And if you miss, no big deal. He has to cut back inside where we have guys coming. But if you don't miss and he's able to maintain his momentum off his stutter down the sideline, he gets, on 3rd and 3, he gets 6. On 3rd and 5, he gets 7. So training goes back to training. And so Tay Brown knows that. He was the first one. And the great part about it is those guys are coming out the field telling him, don't break down, don't break down. I'm hearing them tell each other. So the message is there. We got to continue to train so this muscle memory.
Yeah, the last one, you mentioned Sam Jackson. He started his career at TCU, and then he was at Cal.
Go back to high school, permitted to Purdue.
I was going to say, what do you make of the journey that some of these players take these days?
Well, if you the comfortability for him is the guy that recruited him at TCU is the interim head coach at Oklahoma State. So there's some comfortability there on where he ended up. Do I like that aspect of it? For the kids, I don't. Because the best time of your life and your best friends you make is in college. Whether you play football or whether you just go to college or whether you're in a fraternity or whatever, like that time of your life, 18 to 23, is the most impressionable time because one, your ubungata and all that stuff is still developing, especially for men who are idiots at that time, okay? And then, yeah, that was straight out of the movie, so there we go, there's your quote, there's your tweet, okay? So that stuff is still developing. So they think they're invincible, and they're not. But you don't form those relationships over 4 years and have them for the rest of your life. Like, who's he going to say he played for? He's going to, I mean, he probably found out on Oklahoma State, but he's got tape from TCU. He went to Auburn. I mean, we got one on our team. I love Max Harris. I love Max Harris. And his leadership, he's been voted on the leadership council around here and all those things, and he's a freaking fantastic dude. But he's been at 4 places. Now, he's going to have lifelong friends here because of who he is. But if you're not an outgoing personality, it's going to change that for you. So I really feel bad for that aspect of the kids. Now, the opportunity to play and move around and all that stuff, if you think that's better for you, then I'm all for it. I'm gonna trust a kid's opinion. But it breaks my heart for them because some of my best friends are guys that I played with and went to college with in that 5-year period. So
Finish up with Jason.
Riley played more snaps. Myron got in there for a snap. Do you foresee the linebacker rotation expanding, or is it simply trying to get more guys?
in Myron's rep, see how close you paid attention, Coach. On Myron's rep, do you know what the personnel was on the field?
No.
5 linebackers, 1 D lineman, 5 safety, 5 DBs. We've got 5 linebackers that can play. Can they play every down? No, because if you put 12 and 13 personnel in there, they probably outpower us. But that was 11 personnel. We got a sack out of it. We can do some things athletically with those guys, and we've got the ability. You've got 2 linebackers, or 2 D linemen, 4 linebackers, 1 D lineman, 5 linebackers. We had 2 series out there where we had 5 D linemen, 4 DBs. So, and I said this back in the spring when you guys said, what are you going to be? I said, we're going to be everything. Well, I've lived to it because we have enough talent in certain things. And if you have smart football players that conceptually can do things, you can do a bunch of packages and you don't have to call things differently. And we've been able to manufacture that. They've done a great job with substitution. They've done a great job with understanding conceptually what the calls are. And if you go back to the Hawaii game, I talked about, we called the defense against a 2-back personnel formation on 3rd and 2 that we didn't execute because conceptually we hadn't practiced it since spring ball and they didn't get it. Guess what? This is probably stupid coaching, by the way. We had not practiced it since Hawaii, but we called it in the Iowa State game on a 3rd and 3 and stopped it. Because the concepts are, they're understanding that. So you will see more of Myron and Riley and Chase and Tay and Max on the field at the same time and separate from each other. You've got an opportunity. We've done some where we go 3 D linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 DBs. We don't have a dollar and we don't have a dime because our 5 DBs are elite and we can get a lot of those coverage pieces that they did with the dime stuff and the dollar stuff in 23 with our linebackers. They're as good a cover pieces as those. And then our depth probably isn't as great in the secondary behind me. You've got essentially, you got 4 starters at corner. You've got 4 starters at safety, if you include Gavin in that group. And then Coleman Patton would be the next one that comes up in the secondary. So not quite as deep, but you got so many linebackers that can do different things. They can play on the ball, they can play off the ball, they can play in coverage, they can play in space. So how can you give them just enough that creates variety for the other opponent without screwing them up? That's the best thing. So yeah, I'm disappointed that you didn't notice there was 5 linebackers and 1 D lineman. Nobody did.
No.
Huh? Go back. Hey, once again, go back and watch the tape. And I say that because I want them to know there was 5 linebackers on the field. I mean, we're not trying to hide it. It's out there. But come on, Coach here. Well, and how was the opening statement? What were we at? Like 9 minutes? Yeah, I cut it down.